You're listening to the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast. Now here's your hosts, Kevin, Derek, and Alex.
All right, welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of the Good Old Boys Fantasy Football Podcast, and this is the Friday Night Lights, the Bet Set Snap. We are here and ready to go, and joined as always by our co-host Kevin. Kevin, how are we doing tonight?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Watched the Thursday night game, right? Miami is good for a half, right? Miami, at least solid enough, right? They're solid enough for a half. They kept it close, but Buffalo never really felt in danger of losing that game, but that's all right. So other than that, another work week down. It's Friday night. We get to talk football going into another really good weekend of college and professional games. Get to sit here with you and shoot the breeze and interact with everybody here on the show. So I got no complaints, man. Everything's turning up roses.
Absolutely. And we do have some good games ahead of us here, and quite frankly, the Dolphins were pesky enough that it ruined a lot of people's nights on the on some of the came in just inside the cover and just on the over, right? And I know on Tuesday night when you and I were chatting, we thought that that thing might be at best a 30-10 type of game, and sure enough, the Dolphins decided to put up a few more points than that.
So I was talking with a guy that I work with, and he's like, man, he goes, he goes, what's something random? Like, what's something off the wall, like just a prop bet, like nothing crazy. And I'm not looking like throw big money on it, but just something that has a good return. And I got to thinking about it, and I was like, well, I was like, if you're wanting something with positive return, I said, Ray Davis might be one. I said, if the Bills get out, I said, but I said, I'd switch the script. I said, what about an Ollie Gordon anytime touchdown? I said, you figure that they're using Achane enough, right? That eventually he's going to get taken out, and Gordon's going to fall in the end zone eventually. And sure enough, the first touchdown of the game, so he's texted me right away. He's like, dude, good call. I was like, I wish I could call it that well. I was like, it worked out, but I said that because it was an upside play. But, I mean, it was like plus, what was it? It was plus 500 or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it was 500, 550, whatever. I mean, it threw $10 in on it, or whatever it was. And hey, when you cash out, you cash out. You feel good about it. It doesn't matter whether you win $1 or, $100 sometimes. It's just the sensation of, okay, I got that right.
Right. So the as the kids were saying, you had that luck aura going. So
yeah, something like that, right? It was just it was crazy. And then I got looking at my rosters and realized, damn it, I got enough Devon Achane. I really wanted him to score the touchdown.
Right. Yeah. It was a very interesting bag for fantasy last night, right? Like, you saw some emergence, some not so much. Like the Dolphins, it really is one that I'm wondering if Mike McDaniels is actually going to be able to finish out the season on this one, and how hot that seat's about to really get here over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I mean, they did show better though. Like, who else did? I mean, offensively, you'd like to be able to put it together, and keep it going in that second half. But I mean, Tyreek didn't have a bad game. Jalen Waddle got in the end zone. Achane didn't go bonkers, but he had a pretty serviceable game for a negative game script. So, I mean, for that in particular game, right? You kind of take the good with the bad, but I would agree. His seat's getting hot. I think his time's wearing thin just because they haven't had the playoff, appearances, let alone playoff success, right? And
Right.
you can only have so many years without getting into the playoffs that ownership's going to stand for it.
Right. Well, and part of the problem too, right? Like where he's had success is the team just gets off to these very hot starts in a lot of those seasons, and then falls apart down the end. It makes you wonder if the team starts slow and they've fallen apart towards the end. Like, how much more can they fall apart if that narrative holds true? So, but it'll be interesting to see how they get moving and grooving here, going forward. And the Bills certainly look like a very dominant team again. Even in one of those where it seemed like they didn't necessarily fully dominate like I expected they would. But again, a division game, right? You know each other a little bit, you play each other a fair bit. And who
They're
knows?
missing 3 defensive starters too. I
That
mean, maybe we weren't giving that enough credit. Tuesday, I don't know that we knew that exactly. I think that really came out Wednesday. They were going to be missing some of these guys, but I mean that it does play a hand in it, right? When you're missing 3 starters, basically 25%, 27% of your starting lineups out. You're bound to have some gaps.
absolutely. So, well, shall we? Any news notes? Any topics you want to hit up? Should we start diving into some questions here?
I guess Jaden Daniels is not playing Sunday. That came out, so Marcus Mariota is getting that start. Brock Purdy still might, right? They haven't ruled him out yet, but I think most likely you're going to see another week of Mac Jones.
Justin Fields officially ruled out.
Fields officially ruled out. What else? We knew McCarthy was going to be out, so we know Burrow's out. So I think that kind of takes care of the quarterback news.
Evan Ingram out. The Falcons said goodbye to Young Ho Koo. Zach Charbonnet is listed as doubtful.
AJ Terrell, the Falcons star cornerback, is also out.
Right. No surprise, but Chris Godwin has been officially ruled out for Sunday's game. Trying to think of any others that may have any sort of implications to it, but
Juwan Jennings still up in the air. He's questionable.
DeAndre Swift is dealing with a little bit of a
quad. I think he plays. I think he's going to end up playing.
Okay. Hey, very well might. We'll keep an eye here over the reports in the next couple of days and really see. So, any other news notes? Any other thoughts we want to hit up before we start jumping into questions and comments?
Nah, nothing too pressing. Let's get into it.
All right, let's get her going. Inner Lotus over on Twitch saying hi, and Michael Hart over on YouTube saying hey, fellas. Do have some questions coming in here as well. Jason over on YouTube is saying start to full point PPR. That was a tough one for me. Hampton, Sticky Ricky, or Wan'Dale Robinson.
Ricky Pearsall and Wan'Dale Robinson.
Yeah,
I think Hampton's splitting work. It wouldn't surprise me, at least for a little bit, right? You're still going to see Najee Harris involved. Hampton wasn't able to do a whole lot in week 1 against the Chiefs. Week 2, you thought he'd be able to do something a little bit more against the Raiders, and that didn't come to pass. And so I think you're going to see some more Najee Harris just to continue to have some balance. It's nice to see the Chargers throw the ball around and utilize the forward pass. I know it's not Jim Harbaugh's first preference, but the team looks really good right now. Like I'm worried about this game for the Broncos. Like they got to show up and get over the embarrassment of handing the game away on a penalty last week. So
right.
It's a big game already, right? The winner takes the early lead in the AFC West. So it's going to be crucial for both teams to show up.
Well, not only because the Chargers are sitting in sole possession of first there, but it'll be interesting, right?
Because the Chiefs win, right?
Right. So they have the Chiefs win, they have the Raiders win. If they take the Broncos down, right, they have 3. They have wins over each divisional opponent with sitting 3-0, and right the best the Chiefs could be coming in after week 3 is 1-2. The Chargers beat the Broncos, they'll be 1-2, and the Raiders, the best the Raiders could be would be 2-1. Like that'd be a pretty commanding lead early on that a lot of things left to play. But also interesting stat for everybody out there. Jim Harbaugh is 5-1 all time against Sean Payton in head-to-head matchups. So another thing that doesn't bode well for our Denver Broncos. But
fingers crossed.
Right. All right. Anyway, moving on here. Jason saying start one in a full point PPR. Nick Chubb, Jalen Warren, or Pittman.
I'm leaning Jalen Warren. I think that's what I'm going to start with here. I'm leaning Jalen Warren here. He's doing just enough, and I know that sometimes starting Steelers players aren't the sexiest thing in the world right now, but I do think that he can get some things going at New England. I think that's going to be close enough game to where he's going to be involved throughout the entire process. So I'm going to say Warren is your guy. After that, it's Pittman and then Nick Chubb.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Man, that is a tough one to like hang your hat on with Jalen Warren being the guy calling that out. But I'm right there with you. That Texas offensive line looks putrid. I think Jalen Warren's going to get the most opportunities there, so I'm going to take the volume play on that one. Jason over on YouTube saying best QB streamer of the week. Mariota, dual threat, Michael Penix, Geno Smith, Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold, Wilson, CJ, or Trevor Lawrence.
Actually, like CJ Stroud this week going up against the Jags. I haven't seen enough out of that Jacksonville defense to feel like it's worth it. I know that offensive line isn't great, but I think that if Kirk plays, it's even better. But really, I think Nico and CJ could be due for a pretty big week here.
Fair enough. Yeah, I would put Trevor Lawrence up there as well. I could see that Jacksonville Houston game getting into a little bit of a shootout there. So I would kind of coin flip it between Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud. I would lean CJ Stroud. Michael Penix would also be kind of really tight into that mix for me as well.
Penix, right? Against Carolina. Like I don't mind that one. Like I think I would personally go Penix in front of Trevor Lawrence.
Okay.
But I do think I probably have a little bit more faith in Houston's defense, it sounds like, than maybe what you have. But
I mean, it's kind of 50-50 for me. And I've got Michael Penix right in that mix there as well. So, I mean, I don't mind really any of those. And I think when I'm kind of looking through, projecting that out, all of that, I'm seeing this probably as about a half point difference between the three of them. CJ Stroud and Michael Penix though do have the better matchups there. So I could see where you'd rank it. CJ Stroud, Michael Penix, and Trevor Lawrence. I'm not gonna fault with that one at all. I think they're really, really close. Then for me, it'd be Geno, then Aaron Rodgers, then Russell Wilson, then Sam Darnold, then Marcus Mariota. So definitely a lot of options there. But any other thoughts on this one?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Jason also asking start 2, full point PPR, Pollard, Swift if he plays, Myers.
Swift and Pollard.
I think
I think I'm going Swift and Pollard.
Okay. Yeah, I would put it. I'd have that listed just like you have that there, right? Pollard, Swift, Myers in that order for me.
So. And again, it's Swift because of the Cowboys.
Right.
Right. If the Bears aren't playing the Cowboys defense, I'm probably leaning Pollard and Myers for this week just because he's banged up a little bit. But I just think this matchup's too good to not play Chicago Bears players. And like if you drafted them, this is the game that you expect them to show up.
All righty. Jason saying start one, Drake May or Caleb. If you tell me to start Swift, I'll probably won't do Caleb. Mariota with the Terry stack, Rogers, CJ. It's Drake May for me, I think, in that one.
So you'll start Mariota with the Terry stack, but you won't start Caleb with the Swift stack?
Yeah, no, that's. I think Mariota is a trap play. Like the offense is not going to look anywhere near the same with Mariota under center as what Jaden Daniels does, right?
I think they're going to struggle big time.
Right.
Now, I do think Terry McLaurin probably does have a decent game. Like, I think you might kind of focus in on him a little bit. Debo, I'm sure they'll scheme him open as well. But I mean, the run game for the Commanders has been pretty non-existent. As much as the Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt people want to make it seem like he's the next Barry Sanders. Like, the running game's been terrible. So I don't think that does him any favors. I have Drake May and Caleb as a coin flip again. Like, I don't understand why you have Caleb Williams on your roster if you're not going to play him against arguably the worst pass defense in the league.
Yeah, fair enough.
Like, now, the Steelers have not been very good either, right? The Steelers have had plenty of gaps here to begin with. History tells me that I can have a little bit more trust in Mike Tomlin to get that turned around from one week to the next. So if I have the option, I would go Caleb, but I don't have anything against putting Drake May on there because he will get you, he will cover some of that gap with his legs, right? He scrambles enough that you're probably safe going Drake May also. I just think Caleb has a higher upside.
Yeah, I think you've talked me into it. The matchup is better. And those would be pretty close. Factoring in the matchup. So sure, I'll hop in there with you and go the Caleb Williams side over Drake May, but it is kind of a coin flip for me. But when it comes down to a coin flip at that point, I lean matchups. So Caleb Williams, it sounds like we've got a consensus on that one. Terry asking, trade away Garrett Wilson or AJ Brown to acquire DJ Moore full point PPR. No, thank you.
Yeah, if you really feel like you want to make a move, you're probably trading away AJ Brown. I'm not trading away Garrett Wilson. Like, the guy he gets 8 targets a game like clockwork. Like,
right.
I get it. He went 4 for 50 last week, but if you look at the game, how that game went in time of possession, the Jets never had the ball, and he still had 4 catches for 50 yards. So he is absolutely the heart and soul of that passing offense. So I'm not getting rid of Garrett Wilson. AJ Brown. Here's my thought. And bear with me. Number one, Rome Odunze is the number one wide receiver in Chicago right now. Period. Caleb is looking for him. The route concepts that Odunze is running are more creative. They're a little bit more downfield than what DJ Moore is doing. And Caleb's finding him. 3 touchdowns in the first 2 weeks, right? Like, I don't expect that pace to necessarily continue, but for this week, I sure think it will continue. I'd be shocked if Odunze doesn't get in the end zone. AJ Brown will get out of this funk, right? The Philadelphia Eagles are passing even less than what they did through this point last year, through 2 games. At some point, the box is going to get stacked enough that they're going to let Jalen Hurts air it down the field. And if he does, AJ Brown's going to be a big component to that. So I understand the frustration. I understand why you may not want to play AJ Brown and trying to get something in return for him. But I don't think I would do this deal just because I don't think DJ Moore's really going to see anything better than AJ Brown. And when you're talking upside, I'd much rather have the number 1 on the Eagles than the number 2 or 1B, however you're looking at it, on the Bears.
Yeah, I would absolutely hold on to the DJ Moore, or not the DJ Moore, the Garrett Wilson side, right? Just like you said, he's getting 8 targets a game, and has done pretty much his entire career. It doesn't seem to matter who's back there at quarterback. It also doesn't seem to matter who's back there at quarterback. Garrett Wilson's going to find a way to come up with 1,000 yards on the over the course of a season, and still get 5, 6, 7 touchdowns on a season as well, right? Like that's you're not going to be blowing things away with a wide receiver 1 type of performance, but that is an awfully solid wide receiver 2 type of floor there with upside there. AJ Brown, boom bust, but that's part of the reason I was talking before the season that I really wasn't sold on AJ Brown being a wide receiver 1 this year, and didn't mind him as a wide receiver 2. But to your point, I think you're right. I think the Eagles are going to have to start doing things differently over the next few weeks here. And we're going to see them have to open up the playbook a little bit more and utilize Hurts as a passer. I have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to get through the season winning a bunch of games with him throwing the ball 20 times a game. I think that we'll see this probably uptick, and we'll start seeing him get closer to 30, and probably see closer to about I think we'll probably see him get closer to 30 for a few weeks here coming up here, and that's where I think you'll see that blow up happen with AJ Brown as well. So, any other thoughts on this one?
No, other than, I mean, it could be as soon as this week, right? Like, only because I think the Rams are going to be able to put points up, right? Like, I don't think the Eagles are going to be able to sit back and just run the ball all game. Saquon had 2 monster games against the Rams last year, right? Both anchored by a long touchdown run, really 2 in the regular season game and another long one in the playoffs. So 3 long touchdown runs. Those are fluky. You can't guarantee those, right? So if he gets bottled up a little bit, I could see Philly having to start stretching out here against the Rams, because with Stafford being healthy at the moment, I mean, his chemistry with Devonta Adams is only getting better. We know he loves Puka Nacua. I think the Eagles are really going to make life hard for Kyron Williams. So Stafford's going to be airing it out big time this week, in my opinion. So in return, if they keep getting 6, the Eagles are going to have to get out of this run only shell, and it could be this week where you see AJ Brown kind of snap out of it. I mean, hell, even at this point, if he comes down with 5 for 85, you'd be happy.
Yeah, it's very true. Terry saying full point PPR Mason or Chase Brown, Caleb Williams, or Baker Mayfield.
Going Chase Brown. This Vikings defense isn't terrible, but they did just give it up to Bijan.
And Tyler Algier, both of those guys just ran ragged on him.
Yeah, I think I'm going Chase Brown here. Like, I'm going to take the talent in this situation over the opportunity. Now, the fact that the Bengals defense is terrible and Mason has that backfield to himself, that does say something, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, while the pregame rankings aren't necessarily as close, I wouldn't be surprised to see these guys within like a point and a half of each other by the time it's done and over with. And it might just be which one of them falls into the end zone. So I think this is a little closer. I think for me, I'm going to lean on the Chase Brown side, just because I think they're just going to air the ball out more. It's just kind of how that offense works. And you just have the extra points because of the receptions. I think Minnesota is going to try and play within themselves here just a little bit, make sure Carson Wentz has a good grasp of the offense. And if they're throwing the ball, I think this is going to be a big Justin Jefferson week. You'll see TJ Hawkinson make an emergence, but I don't think Mason's going to see a whole lot of passing work in that format. So slightly in the Chase Brown. And then as far as the quarterbacks go, I'm going Caleb. I just, again, the Cowboys matchup, I'm not turning it down. If I have Caleb on my roster, whether he was my first quarterback or my second quarterback, like, there's not many options. Against the Jets, though, they're terrible.
Yeah, and they're missing Jermaine Johnson, one of their main pass rushers, too.
Yeah, I think Baker, now that I'm looking through this, and I totally spaced Tampa Bay is playing the Jets.
And for me, I
think
lean
I
Baker.
would go Baker. I think I would. I don't know if his ceiling in this game is quite as high as Caleb's is in the Cowboys game, but I think Baker's floor is a hell of a lot safer.
Yep.
I
I would
don't
agree
think
with that.
Baker's going to go out and throw 3 interceptions against the Jets. I do see a world where Caleb Williams goes out and just happens to get picked off 3 times against the Cowboys. Like if they show up like they did against the Eagles and remember that they can play defense and come down with some of those 50-50 deep shots that Russ hit on. Caleb Williams does not throw the deep ball as well as Russell Wilson, right? So if he's off just a little bit, maybe they come down with a couple of those. So I am going to pivot now that I'm realizing the matchup, and I'm going to tell you Baker, Terry.
I would lean Baker as well, right? And I like what kind of what you were saying there. I think that he's got the safer floor, and he's got good upside, but and certainly has a safer floor. So I like that aspect to it. But
if Mbuka can't go and it's only Mike Evans, does that change your mind on Baker?
It would, because at that point at that point I think we're going to see the Bucks really try and lean on the run game, right? Because at that point you would have it's going to be Mike Evans, Sterling Shepard, and Kate Otten out there for your pass catchers. Because if Mbuka doesn't go, you've got McMillan that's on IR. Chris Godwin's already ruled out, and if Mbuka can't go as well, right? Like start kind of becoming a little bit one-dimensional there. So it does change that a little bit. The Caleb Williams side, I think you're right. I think he does have a higher upside there, but also a bigger bust potential there. As far as the running backs go, I would lean the Chase Brown side of things. I think Chase Brown does have the higher likelihood for a bust potential, though. And Jordan Mason does have some pretty good upside with Aaron Jones being on IR, and the matchup would be pretty juicy there. But I would still lean the Chase Brown side of things in that matchup. Any other thoughts on that? That's one.
So if it was DFS, I'd probably flip and tell you to go
Yeah.
Mason, right? You take the value in a game that probably it's a bit easier for Mason than it's going to be for Chase Brown, and obviously the value savings. But until we see what this year's version of Jake Browning looks like, it is a little bit up in the air, right? We're going off of a lot of things that happened in 23, where he did look good in relief of Joe Burrow. We're hoping that stays the same as he's been able to get there. I'm still shocked that after that performance, teams weren't trying to even overpay to get him. And then the Bengals locked him up, right? So this is what you pay backup quarterbacks for. Go in and you win the games and you try and keep your team afloat. And he's got basically 10 games, maybe even more, 11 games that he's going to have to try and deal with minimum. And then maybe you see Joe Burrow come back.
Yeah. Inner Lotus over on Twitch saying the Broncos win by 20. I guess
I would love to see that.
Game, but
they keep giving up the big play. Like they need to stop giving up the explosives.
Yes. Inner Lotus also asking you guys are Broncos fans. Yes, we are. All right. Michael over on YouTube question. What do you think of me trading Devonta Smith and Harold Fannin Jr. for Jaylen Warren? Is it too much? FYI, they have McBride already and need running back help. 10-person league, full point PPR.
I think it's a little much for Jaylen Warren. I mean, if you find the right tight end needy team and you're tacking Devonta Smith on there, I think you could look at something like a Alvin Kamara, which no one's really talking about, maybe a Kenneth Walker, who a lot of people are down on at the moment, but he's probably going to have this week all to himself. So when we get here next week, it's going to be Kenneth Walker to the moon because he's going to get to show off here this weekend a little bit.
Just keep in mind for everybody that, a couple weeks ago when
should I trade him? Should I trade him?
Should I try and dump him? Should I get rid of him? And we were telling you to hold.
Yep, we
Right.
said no every single time. So, yeah, I don't know that you're gonna be able to get a whole lot better than that necessarily. James Conner, maybe. I don't want Chuba with the offensive line injuries that they're having. I think Chuba's a false narrative. So I think there's a couple guys that maybe maybe a Travis Etienne.
Yep.
Like
I like
Etienne's
that.
maybe not a bad one, right? Like I don't think he's back in everyone's good graces just yet. Maybe the owner's super happy with him, but again, you find the right trade partner, but I don't know that I think it's an overpay for Jalen Warren specifically.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't, and I'm not kind of right there with you. The Michael goes on to say that the trade partner is dealing with both Evan Ingram and Hunter Henry as their tight ends.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thought. Like I said, I don't love it for Jalen Warren, but if you're needing running back that bad, sometimes you just have to find a way to make it work. Like if you won't take Fannin and Josh Palmer or Fannin and Josh Downs, something like a lesser wide receiver than Devonta Smith, if that's what his asking price is, I don't think I would do it. I'd let him suffer another week personally. Like it's not my team, right? That's easy for me to say sitting on this side of the screen. You're the one who has to live with that decision, but it it just doesn't give me the warm and fuzzies.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we'll see that backfield shift yet again before the season's over in Pittsburgh. So, not looking to make that move, but so Tober saying it's 10-person PPR Murray or Daniel Jones, Jefferson, Odunze, DK, Pickens, Higgins, Io Manor, Karen's MCM, Fannin, Pollard, Sampson, Marks.
So Murray or Daniel Jones is the only question there, right?
I'm believing so, and then I think the Sotober is giving us the rest of the
There's the lineup.
yeah.
Hey, again, these coin flips. Like, I don't know that you're really going to go wrong with either. Like, I think that Daniel Jones has been off to a really good start for Indianapolis.
Right.
This one's going to be the first road game of the season, so maybe things do change a little bit for Danny Dimes there on the road. Kyler Murray has had some massive games against the San Francisco 49ers. He's had some stinkers too, but I think I would go with Daniel Jones and the path of least resistance, but I'm not so convicted in that I couldn't be talked into Kyler Murray.
Yeah, I
Like
could go
18 to 19 points, right? Like that's kind of what you're feeling out of each one of them. Like I don't know that either one of them without something kind of out of an ordinary
yeah, I'll
gets
go
to
Daniel
20
Jones.
plus.
The matchup's juicier. I'll go the Daniel Jones against Tennessee. So, but yeah, that is really a coin flip, and we'll ride the hotter hand with the better matchup is where I'm going. So it'll be Daniel Jones there. Any other thoughts on that one?
No, we've had some good ones, right? Just like
Yeah.
kind of right neck and neck there.
Yeah. Interload is saying that they have K9, JK, Scatabo, and Judkins. Should I drop Scatabo or Judkins for Harvey?
No, not right now.
Yeah.
Not right now. I think Cam Scadabo's on his way to taking over the backfield there in New York. I don't love the New York run game in general. So if you're gonna drop one, I would drop Cam and pick up Harvey, just so that way you can kind of control that Denver backfield in case Dobbins goes down. But Judkins, I'm keeping. I mean, it's going to be a three-headed monster here for a couple weeks, but I do think that the Browns will get into a two-man rotation, and whether it's Sampson or whether it's Ford that goes with Judkins, we know Judkins is going to be part of that.
I would agree. And then Lotus is saying it's a 10-team half-point PPR. I don't know that changes anything for me there. Does that change anything for you?
It just means that Harvey might stick around a little bit longer on the waiver wire. Like if you're not needing to do it, I mean, right now he's getting 4 or 5 touches a game, and that's about it. I don't think that this week's going to do him any favors unless he, somehow breaks one and takes it to the house. But we haven't really seen that happen against this this Chargers defense yet. So I don't know that you can predict that.
Yeah, I would agree. Bang and Play over on Twitch saying, is Monty for Travion Henderson a good trade?
Like you would be getting Monty. Like, I guess who would you be getting? I would want the Henderson side. Like, I still think Monty has the floor, and if you need the points right now because you're hurting at running back, I understand that. If you're looking for the long run and probably what's going to be best by the end of the season, by the time you get in the playoffs and everything else, I would tell you Travion Henderson.
I would agree with that. The strength of schedule is better for Henderson. Playoff strength of schedule also better for Henderson, and I think you're right. I think we'll start seeing him ascend here towards the tail end of the season. So I would rather have the Travion Henderson side as well. Terry, pick 2 full point PPR: Debo without Daniels, AJ Brown, Garrett Wilson, or Mbuka. Garrett Wilson.
If Mbuka plays, I think you're starting him. And then probably Garrett Wilson.
Even with Tyrod, I'm still going the Garrett Wilson side.
I think so. Like, I know Debo's gotten to the end zone these first couple weeks. I can't believe in Debo. I just can't. I think it's a facade. I think eventually Terry McLaurin's going to hit his stride with whoever the quarterback is, right? And Daniels once he comes back. But I think by the end of the season, Debo's going to be a distant number 2. He's just got off on the right foot. AJ Brown, like we've said, could pop this week, but at the moment he hasn't given you any faith. So I would rather miss, I'd rather miss AJ Brown having a good game and being, 1 out of 3 for the season as far as a boom bust type thing, as opposed to taking the sure thing. We know Wilson's going to see plenty of targets. If Mbuka's playing, Baker has already starting to find a chemistry with him. He's finding some red zone targets. They're not all going to Mike Evans, which is crazy, but they're just not. So, and right, wrong, or different with him being the younger, sprier player, like he's going to see some more down the field work too. So I'm Wilson and Mbuka for me.
Yeah, the interesting thing that Debo does present this week is without Jaden Daniels back there and them going Marcus Mariota, I could see a world in which they find a way to just get the ball into space in Debo's hands and let him do the thing. Like, I don't trust Marcus Mariota to throw the ball more than about 5 or 10 yards down the field. And I also don't trust him being in the pocket and making progressions through reads to be able to even find the open guy 5 or 10 yards down the field. But it wouldn't surprise me to see a ton of bubble screens, a ton of jet sweeps, a ton of things that just try and put the ball in Debo's hands in space and try and be an extension of the run game with Austin Eckler no longer back there as well, and the run game not being very good.
I think that's what the Raiders defend well against.
Could be. That's kind of
right. You're running press coverage to make it difficult because Max Crosby's coming off the edge. And so your guys are right there for all that short and intermediate stuff. Where you get the Raiders consistently is if you can contain Max Crosby and let the play develop down the field, it's wide open.
Right. The problem is I don't trust Marcus Mariota to hit a wide open guy more than about 5 yards off the line of scrimmage. Right. Like I don't. The
Big Zach Ertz week.
yeah, that
And
that
it's
could be it.
plausible, right?
Right.
Like you could absolutely see a world where Zach Ertz is tied in 1 at the end of this week.
Yeah, very well could be. But I do think that we'll see. I think they'll try and find a way to get Debo at least 10 touches in this game.
Wow.
Yeah. I said I just kind of crazy thought, but would not surprise me to see him heavily used in this to try and buy Mariota some time. So anyway, we'll move on there if there's no other thoughts on this one. Daniel over on YouTube. Hey fellas, PPR league, and Daniel's about to do something crazy. Trade Malik Neighbors and Kyron Williams for Justin Jefferson and Drake London. The bench is Genty, Pollard, Warren, Sutton, Juwan, and Shakir. The trade partner has Tyrone, Tracy, RJ, Harvey as running backs.
Okay.
I don't hate it. I don't love it at the same time, but I don't hate it.
I mean,
for me, it's one of those, if you have the running back depth yourself that you can handle losing Kyron Williams.
I just don't understand the Neighbors piece. Like, instead of Neighbors and Kyron, like, why don't you just trade Kyron for one of those receivers?
Right.
That's me personally, but I mean, there's nothing wrong with the trade. Like, I hope it works out for you. I don't know. I don't understand the point in trading Neighbors, however you're looking at it, Neighbors for Jefferson or Neighbors for Drake. Like, Neighbors for Drake, I think is a loss.
Yep.
Neighbors for Jefferson, I think is about even. And
that's if you start getting quarterback play that gets the ball to Jefferson.
I think Wentz is going to pepper the hell out of him.
Right. My problem
I think we got a month. I think we got a month. He's going to pepper the hell out of him too. So, I mean, I hope it works out for you. I really do. I think Kyron for Drake London straight up makes me feel better about all of it, personally.
Yeah, bench. Yeah, but I don't necessarily love his running back room there as well from a what that would look
Survive
like.
in advance, though. You're just going so wide receiver that you expect him to make it up.
Yeah, that's fair. So, yeah, I'm with Kevin on that one. I don't know that I want to trade Neighbors and Kyron for Jefferson and Drake, right? Like, maybe the Kyron straight up, and if the other manager is that quarterback or that running back starved, see if you can't do Kyron for Jefferson straight up with that poor start. Tyler over on YouTube, should I drop Tootin, Hollywood, or Tillman for Rachaad White, Najee, or Corum full point PPR? I'd be okay dropping Tootin for Najee.
So I don't know if I'd drop Tootin. I think I'd probably drop Rachaad White.
He'd be looking to pick up Rachaad White.
Well, for White or not. No. Yeah, so you're right.
The only one of those running backs I really want is Najee.
Najee, I'd agree. Najee's really the only one of those 3 running backs that I would want. So, I mean, yeah. I think any which way you split it, Tootin and Najee are probably going to be about the same, right? They're both I guess Tootin's clearly 1B right now, or the second off the bench. I think Najee's going to come into this 1B role and be a little bit closer to a 50-50 split. Hollywood, you're going to have up and down weeks. But here in a couple weeks, I think once Rashee Rice comes back, it's irrelevant. And Xavier Worthy, again, in a week or so, if he's fully healthy and starting to play again, I don't know how much more you're going to see out of Hollywood.
It's fair.
Tillman, Tillman, I think, is probably the constant, right? Like
Right.
his floor is just pretty
That's
good.
7 to 8 targets a game. I want that on my roster.
Yeah, so I'd probably drop Hollywood for Najee, honestly. As crazy as that sounds for some folks, like if you're going to make the move, that's the move I would make. But I don't know. I don't feel like you're forced to do that. I think it's a choice.
Right. So Tolbert saying that they're 0-2 and they need a win. Yeah, that was going back to that Kyler or Danny Dimes question.
Dunze should have a better week. Like okay, so let's look at this. So he's only going to start 2 or 3 of these receivers, right? Going back to this.
Okay.
So we already talked about the quarterback. So Jefferson, Dunze, DK Metcalf, George Pickens. Is it Jaden or T. Higgins? I guess is what I'm curious about because I have completely different opinions about them.
And at that point, it wouldn't much matter for me, just from the standpoint that I'm gonna play. Right, I'm assuming that this is a 2 running back, 2 wide receiver, flex, tight end type of deal.
That's what I'm assuming. So I'm assuming 3, right? I think it's Jefferson, Dunze, and I'd go Pickens.
Okay.
Again, matchup against the Bears. So
yeah,
you play that matchup on both sides. So I would go Jefferson, Dunze, Pickens personally. Right after that, I'd probably go T. Higgins if that's who it is T. Higgins, only because when Jake Browning was in the lineup back in 2023, he did seem to focus on T. Higgins slightly more than what Jamar Chase was getting from Jake Browning. Could have been coverage, right? And just kind of how he was reading the defenses. That was a year and a half ago, though. There's a lot of growth he could see in that year and a half, so it's not necessarily a guarantee. And the Vikings do a decent job covering the pass. Again, they got blitzed by the Falcons a little bit. They got put in some really bad situations and they just kind of got run all over. But for this week, Jefferson, Dunze, and Pickens, and that's where I think you're going. And then on the running backs,
I'm not sure who. Yeah, I'm not sure who
am I missing? Who that is?
I'm not sure who Karen CMCM is. So
is it supposed to be Kyron?
Maybe
like Kyron Williams, MCM. Is it supposed to be JCM? They're right next to each other on the keyboard. Like he's just like go low.
It could be. I mean, let's assume that it's cross numeric at that point.
It's Kyron and Pollard.
Yeah.
And you got Fannin there.
Yep.
Right. So there you go. Danny Dimes, Jefferson, Dunze, Pickens, Kyron Williams, Tony Pollard, and Fannin. Trot that out there.
Would be what I'd look for as well. Interlotus saying, thank you. They're a Broncos fan too. So back to that lineup question.
Go Broncos.
Millie Mills saying, pick 2 wide receivers, 2 flex, and 1 tight end. Half point PPR, CDT, Sutton, Mbuka, Pickens, Jalen Warren, K9, Pitts, Fannin, Kraft.
Who is your two?
CD, yes.
CDS. Why do you have CD and Pickens on the same team?
Yeah. CD, yes, and Mbuka if he goes, Sutton if he doesn't.
Oh, I'd go T if he doesn't.
You'd go
That's
T.
Right. That's where you and I would differ, right? I would go T Higgins if Mbuka doesn't go. But I agree on CD.
Okay.
And then Jalen Warren, Kenneth Walker, great. And as far as tight end goes, Pitts, Fannin, or Kraft. Okay, so Pitts, Fannin. Oh, hell, he needs more than that. So CD, T. Higgins, and Mbuka. He's playing more than that, isn't he, Derek?
Yeah, because he had 2 wide receivers, 2 flexes.
So it's CD. You can get all those guys in.
Yeah, I just would leave Pickens out because I don't want both of those
So who are
guys
your
there,
running backs if you have Kenneth Walker as a potential flex?
right? Oh, I was thinking that they still needed to be in there at the running backs. K9 I'm putting in.
Yeah, I'm finding a way to get Walker into this lineup with
Right.
him being the only show in town.
Right.
So if that's the case, we're back to CD and Mbuka. Right.
CD and
So there's
Buka
your
for the
2
wide
wide
receivers.
receiver.
Yep.
Then you go 2 flex spots. So,
K9's one of them.
Yep. Kenneth Walker's definitely one of them. And then Derek and I are torn between T. Higgins and Cortland Sutton. And then for your tight end position, Pitts, Fannin, or Kraft. I'm going to lean Kraft. Like, I know that he had the little scare in practice the other day, but everybody says that that's just fine. Like, it was just a scare. So,
Although he is listed as questionable on the
I think
injury.
they had to, right?
They didn't want to have who was that the other day that was the injury to the wrist.
This was Brian Thomas.
That's who it was. Yep. Yeah.
Silly Jaguars.
So yeah, I would agree with that Kraft would be the tight end there.
And then on it, I would go Pitts over Fannin. Not by a lot, but again, Green Bay's defense is much better than Carolina's defense. Fannin is splitting this tight end work with David Njoku. Like, yes, he's had 2 good weeks, but I am not sold that he is clearly the guy when David Njoku is a very good tight end in his own right. So I don't know that I'm willing to sign off on that. Henry and Chase Brown. Okay, so yeah, so you're getting Kenneth Walker in there. Okay, so I'd go Kyle Pitts if Kraft does not go.
Okay. Yeah. I can just see that. I've got Pitts and Fannin neck and neck in coin flip anyway. So if you like the matchup is better for Kyle Pitts. So I could be leaning that way. Yeah. So there you go. You got CD, you got Mbuka, you got K9, and then for the other one, Kevin's leaning T. Higgins. I'm leaning Sutton for that one, and it's Kraft, and then Pitts if Kraft can't go. So there we go. Pokey Varsity over on YouTube saying, "Sup guys, what do y'all think of my lineup? Any changes you would do for my bench? Nix, Henry, Irving, Puka, Ladd, Laporta, Sutton. The bench is Waddle. You can't sub Waddle in at this point. Dobbins, Franklin, Chubb, and Myers."
No,
No.
I think I would. I don't know. If anything, I would flip Dobbins and Sutton, and that's going to pair into a question that we have here coming right up too. Right? Is it Dobbins or Sutton this week? Do you take the guaranteed touches with Dobbins, or do you take the air yards and the chemistry that Nix is going to be able to hit Sutton on a deep one, and you're going to cash in?
Oh, that is a good one. I would probably lean. I'd probably lean the Dobbins side.
That's where I'm leaning to, and not by a lot. Again, we're talking maybe point difference or so when it's all said and done with. I think that J.K. Dobbins is going to get. It's the revenge factor, right? Like how he left L.A. was kind of weird, and he felt like they wanted him there, and then all of a sudden he just wasn't going to be coming back. Like, I do think this is a revenge narrative. So I'm leaning Dobbins in this, that he's going to have a little something for Harbaugh and the boys and try and show them, look, like you passed on me, that's fine. Like, but here we go.
Right. Well, you're right, because that was weird, because they did a pretty decent job for him last year. Then they go out, sign some big, spend some big money on Najee to bring him in on a free agent deal. Draft Amari Hampton in the second round. Actually,
and Dobbins was just sitting there the whole time because he's just on a 1-year deal.
Right. And then they signed Dobbins to like a reserve contract. Kind of a restricted free agent type of tender on that to do that as well. So kind of a very crazy string of events there. And then the Broncos, go out and take him. So, take him and sign him out into the roster. So yeah, I like that now that you bring that up and jog the memory around that.
A fun storyline, right? Gives you something extra to root for. And when they're that close, I sold myself too. I'm going Dobbins.
Okay. So yeah, I would agree with that. And I made that omission a moment ago. It was Amari Hampton was a first round pick, not a second round pick. My apologies. Which then leads into this question here. Flex, Sutton, or Dobbins. We just hit that one up. So Dobbins still the answer there. Ali over on YouTube also asking Caleb or Nix.
Caleb Williams.
As much as the initial gut reaction is Bo Nix, just draft capital, all of that you had with that. I don't know how you lean that way still with that matchup and everything else. So yeah, I'm right there with you. It's Caleb for me this week. Jacob 4 over on Twitch, 12-man half-point PPR, 1 QB, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 2 flex, and they can be a tight end. May, Chase Brown, Pollard, Lamb, JSN, Bowers, Odunze, JCM, Packers kicker, Packers D. The bench is Caleb Williams, Sampson, Tootin, Golden, Juwan Johnson.
If anything, where Derek and I kind of talked here earlier in the show, like if you're making a change, it's Caleb Williams for Drake May.
Yep.
You're flipping those two. Everything else, I'm holding pat. Like I like how the lineup looks.
Yeah. I would leave that alone otherwise.
You want to be sneaky and throw Juwan Johnson in there instead of JCM.
Yeah. See if he can keep up that touchdown parade that he's got going.
Just the sheer targets.
Right. It's something else for a wide receiver to be averaging 10 targets a game. Something even more when a tight end's doing it. So.
Yeah. I mean. So that's a possibility. I might do that and go Juwan Johnson over JCM.
Especially if there's any tight end premium on the league too. That makes it even an easier move at that point. So I like it. Millie Mills saying the Falcons fan call him Marcus Overthrower. That plays back into what I was talking about earlier on those the trust factor in Mariota to hit short hit targets is not there.
Exactly.
Okay. Mario over on YouTube saying greetings fellas, start TJ Hawkinson hoping Carson Wentz keeps it 32% pass rate to tight end position, or start fanning with Flacco at QB. So it's
Hawkinson.
I would agree.
Hawkinson. And again, for me, it's not that close. Like I am absolutely willing to put TJ Hawkinson in there with Carson Wentz. This Fannin deal it's fluid. Like we need to stop anointing him the next thing. Like he's not even the clear number 1 on his own team. I know we're tight end deprived, but when you have Hawkinson, that's who I'm going with.
Fair enough. I would agree on the Hawkinson side of things. Now, I'd say that also saying that Hawkinson does have I think Hawkinson has a pretty good boom bust potential, right? Like I think that he's got a very good ceiling, but he's also got a very high likelihood that Minnesota's offense again continues not doing much there. So
6 for 72 and a touchdown.
Okay, I like it. I think that's probably the ceiling on that. I could also see him ending up with 2 for 20 and no touchdowns.
Fumble. 2 for
Yeah,
20.
2 for 20 and a fumble, right? Like that I think is the floor there. So Fannin, I think you're probably going to be about 4 for 40, 5 for 50 type of thing. And if he gets in the end zone, it's a bonus. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Smokey the cat over on YouTube. Hi guys, help start one PPR. I have no one else. Rashad White, Najee, Harvey, or Benson. Thanks. I'm going Najee.
My immediate reaction is Najee.
I could be talked into White, but
see, I don't want any part of White. I'm thinking Benson.
Okay.
I'll go Najee. I think Benson, for me, Benson's a close second, but Rashad White and Harvey are distant third and fourth for me.
Yeah, I would lean Najee. White, Benson in that order for me. But we're both in alignment there on the Najee side. Mark over on YouTube. If Tyler Warren is out, Mark Andrews, Chiggy, or Jonnu Smith off the waivers, half point PPR.
Mark Andrews.
And it's not close for me. Like that's an easy Mark Andrews side of things. I get that it's been rough. It's been not necessarily what you're wanting, but I would far rather trust my week to Mark Andrews than either Chiggy or Jonnu. I think that's Inner Lotus over on YouTube saying Dobbins is about to beast this week. Chargers defense is overrated. Chiefs running backs are trash, and Raiders O-line is trash. Also, they lost their best defensive player, Mack, to injury. This is still a team that gets it done, and it's not like, yes, Khalil Mack is a big piece there, but the Chargers have a lot of depth as well. Like they were able to plug in a former top 10 pick to kind of roll through them, right? Like the talent was there at one point,
and we haven't seen a clean game out of the Broncos yet this season,
right?
Like if you're telling me that they play a clean game and they're not turning the ball over, I think I can subscribe to this, but we haven't seen it yet. 4 turnovers week 1, and they squeak out a victory. Another 1 or 2, 1 turnover against the Colts.
Mix had an interception.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. And then they had the Colts, but I mean they gave up a ton of big plays. Like this defense at the moment, for whatever reason, they're not clicking like they were last year. They're not getting to the quarterback like they were a year ago. So we're definitely seeing some differences here in the Broncos defense. I think they can adjust. Again, they've been giving up too many big plays, and that's what worries me. The big plays and the turnovers. And typically those two things do not bode well for a winning recipe if you're giving up big plays on defense and turning the ball over on offense.
Yeah, agreed. So I, as much as I'd like to jump in on that, and say the Broncos are gonna dominate, I think this game is gonna be very close. Inner Lotus going on to say the Chargers don't have the Colts offensive line, and JT, though we're a good matchup. We're good against wide receivers, their strength. Maybe. I think this game is going to be very close.
I hope you're right. Like, believe me, I want you to be right. I'm just, being a fan and then trying to remain neutral as we do these shows. Sometimes
right.
I become a pessimist. Unnecessarily. It's just making sure that I don't just give the false narrative of pound the table for the Broncos every week, even though there's a realistic chance that it may not go in their favor.
Right. So, Ali asking, trade Chuba for AJ Brown.
I'm all about trading Chuba. I don't know if I want to trade Chuba for AJ Brown.
Mm-mm.
Like I'd try and trade Chuba for like Devontae Adams.
I could see that. Yeah, I think
I like that. Trade Chuba for Marvin Harrison Jr. And maybe Brown's low, right? So Chuba's still serviceable until the game starts on Sunday, and we see what this Panthers team looks like, missing 2/3 of their offensive line. So I don't think that you need to go AJ Brown status just yet. I'm just trying to figure out where maybe you do go to be able to get fair value for Chuba as he stands right now, right? Especially if your league mates are kind of sleeping on it.
right.
But if you want to unload Chuba and that's the best offer you got, then that's the best offer you got. Like
Right.
you sometimes cannot help your, the trade partner that you have to dance with.
Yeah. I think it's kind of 6 of one, half dozen of another. I'm not necessarily a fan of either side of that trade. I can understand wanting to get out of Chuba, especially for the reasons that Kevin mentioned. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. Remley over on YouTube, 10 person half point PPR, wide receivers Jamar, London, Garrett Wilson, Pickens, Jennings, Mooney. Running backs are Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, Dobbins, Tootin, Charb. Would it make sense for me to trade Jamar Chase for CMC or a slightly worse running back if that doesn't fly? I don't know that I do that deal.
I don't know if you do that deal either. Like, I think you're perfectly fine between Chase Brown, Kenneth Walker, and Dobbins.
Right? And you've got
Like,
Charbonnet in there as well. So you've got the Seattle backfield locked up.
And I know it was a headache the first week, and yes, Charbonnet still out-touched him. Like, I'm going to go back to what I was pounding the table on with Kenneth Walker preseason, right? He is a natural fit for this Kubiak offense. His skill set matches in so well with what Clint Kubiak wants to do that it, in my opinion, is only a matter of time, right? Charbonnet was there. Yes, he was available in the preseason, but Charbonnet's valuable when Walker goes down and he has everything on his own. Charbonnet is not really valuable other than a handcuff when they're both active, right? Week 1 was the anomaly. It's not going to be the rule, in my opinion. And now that Charbonnet is dealing with an injury, if Kenneth Walker does stay healthy, I don't think he gives up this lead spot now. So I think he could be a very pleasant surprise. Dobbins is doing good things. Like his metrics, like people aren't necessarily talking about, but his metrics right now, as far as touches, touchdowns, yards, yards before contact, yards after contact, his metrics are really good. So I think I'd rather keep Jamar. And you keep arguably the best receiver in football right now. Drake London and Garrett Wilson, you have a big upside play with Pickens, right? If he can start coming down with some of those balls instead of getting PI calls all the time, and he actually gets the stats, like people's view on George Pickens is going to completely change. Like the guy is playing really well right now.
Right.
He's not getting the statistical output because the laundry keeps getting thrown onto the field, but it's only a matter of time before him and Dak figure that piece out. And George comes down with these footballs instead of just taking the penalty yardage.
Well, and
so, I don't know how to do it. I'd take Jamar Chase with a backup quarterback over an injury-prone Christian McCaffrey any day.
Well, and I mean, we just saw Jamar Chase get peppered with 16 targets in this last week, right? Like, wouldn't surprise me if we see that. No, not necessarily 16, but Cincinnati is going to have to throw the ball a lot to stay in games, even with the backup quarterback there. So I like that roster, especially if you're running, Jamar Chase, Drake London every week, Chase Brown, and you're running back 2. You're either going between Kenneth Walker or Dobbins, maybe matchup dependent pipe there. And then your then your flex position, you're looking at either Garrett Wilson or Kenneth Walker Dobbins, and you play the matchups on that. Like, I really like that that kind of play there. And I don't know that you really improve much there when you're if you're trading Chase for CMC, right? Like, I would rather have the Chase side of things on that one. All righty. Well, guys, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, let's throw those in the chat and get those rocking and rolling there. Remley chiming in over on Twitch saying that they appreciate it. Most welcome there, Remley. So again, guys, any questions, concerns, comments, go ahead and throw those in. Let's chat about those. Let's get those hit up here. But we do have a pretty decent slate of games this weekend, and there's going to be some interesting type of games and type of matchups here. Looking forward, right? And just kind of looking at where folks are kind of looking and the questions and all of that, right? Like, we do have some pretty good games here, right? Like, I think that Broncos Chargers game will be really good. I think that Bears and Cowboys game will be very entertaining to watch. We have the Ravens and the Lions on the Monday night game. I think that'll be good. The Rams Eagles, I think that should be another good and fun one to watch. Any others that you're interested in kind of keeping a tab on or keeping an eye out this weekend for matchups?
Rams Eagles is kind of the one that I am really wanting to check out. See how that goes. I know neither one of us picked the Rams to win that division, but they've looked pretty good through 2 weeks here. And again, it all leans on Matt Stafford, right? If he stays healthy, the Rams are going to remain very competitive, and I think that there's a chance. It's been a struggle for him to stay healthy, right? With the back injuries and everything else, that's hard. So I think I'm super interested in that one. As a Broncos fan, obviously that game with the Chargers, like you said. Honestly, I'm semi interested in this Kansas City Giants game only because it's pretty desperate for both teams, right? Like Russ, the noise in New York already is getting super loud, even with what he did against the Cowboys. Like, it's not his fault the defense kept giving up points. Russ did everything he could to win that football game, and the Giants defense just kept giving it up like the Cowboys did. So the noise in New York is getting loud for Jackson Dart, and Kansas City starting 0-2 for the first time since
in the Mahomes era.
Right. Seemingly since Jesus was resurrected. Like, it just hadn't really seemed to happen. So, right, what kind of desperation do they have? I'm interested in that. I'm slightly interested in Cleveland Green Bay only because I want to see if Green Bay takes a breath. Right? They had two pretty high profile games here to start with and plugging right along. So I am interested to see if Green Bay goes, okay, and they relax a little bit. And if they do they get caught? It's a home game, so I think they're fairly well protected. The fans will keep them in it and kind of will them, but we've seen crazier things than a letdown game.
It's true. It's very true. And last time the Chiefs started 0-2, 2014. So Alex Smith was the quarterback. Interestingly enough, right? Like, but yeah, I think you're right. That's an interesting one there. Interlotus chiming in, asking how often do you guys stream? We go live twice a week during the season, right? Tuesday nights, 11 p.m. Eastern, and then on Friday nights we do the Bet Set Snap, which is this show here on the 11 p.m. Eastern as well. So, shameless plug time. Appreciate everybody out there, watching, chiming in. Make sure that you hit that like button, that subscribe button. Certainly helps things out there. Any other games that you're looking forward to looking into this weekend?
I mean, I think obviously peeking in on all of them, I'm very interested in general to see how these backup quarterbacks play.
Mm-hmm.
Like just flat out, right? We have enough teams. What is it? 5 teams playing a backup quarterback this week. Is that right? Bengals, Minnesota, San Francisco, Washington.
Jets.
4? Is it just 4?
Jets.
Jets. There's your 5th. So, I mean, I'm curious to see how any of these guys play. Not that they're going to take the starter's job. Like, I don't think any of the starters that are out, whether it's short or long term, are in danger of losing their starting position. But which backup quarterback can step up and do their job, right? Keep their team in the game, make the right play at the right time, limit mistakes, all that coach speak stuff. But it stands true right here, right? You have guys who, are working with the first team, maybe for the first time all season, right? Even since when camp was together. So it's just trying to see what that familiarity looks like. We'll get some data on who gets targeted, whether it's for later this year or for another week, and seeing week 4 brings us. So there's definitely some intrigue in that holistically. That and selfishly, I have enough Kenneth Walker in best ball that I hope he just goes ham.
Yes. Yeah, I've got a fair bit of that as well. So that'll be fun and interesting to see play out there. I'm not seeing any other questions, concerns, comments come in here, so I think we'll start wrapping it up here. Any final thoughts out there for the viewers and listeners?
Enjoy the slate, right? As always. So make sure you homing through, check all these questionable players, right? 90 minutes before kickoff, check that. Make sure that the guys that are playing in your Sunday night or Monday night games, put those guys in your flex spots where you can to give you a little bit of flexibility if, God forbid, something happens. Other than that, feel free to hit us up at Good Old Boys FF. We really try and get back to you guys as quickly as possible. Just send it through the socials. Pretty much anywhere you consume football content, you can find us there at Good Old Boys FF, and we'll give you our insight, right? But good luck to everybody. I hope all your teams win, unless you're playing me.
I like that. Yeah. So as Kevin mentioned, at Good Old Boys FF on all the socials. Make sure that you hit that like and subscribe button wherever you're listening to this, and appreciate everybody tuning in, chiming in. But that's gonna do it for us tonight, except for this one. We got the buzzer. The buzzer beater came in. Start one. This from Axie over on Twitch. Start one. Parasol, Dobbins, Hollywood, or Judy.
I'm gonna start Parasol by a hair. Dobbins is right behind, in my opinion, but I'd go Ricky Parasol.
Yeah, my initial gut reaction was the Dobbins, but I think you're right.
It's
think
just an
it is.
upside play. I think
Yeah.
Parasol has an easier time to get to 100 yards and a touchdown than Dobbins does.
Yeah, I would agree. So I would lean the Ricky Parasol side of things as well, but it is really close. This is an interesting one. Axie's over on Twitch asking Dobbins over Kyron.
I don't hate that, right? Like, if you're trying to be a little different, I don't think I hate that. Like, Kyron, if we're starting to see Blake Corum get into the fold more, right? And it's looking more 70-30 instead of kind of that 85-15 that we've been accustomed to. It does take Kyron's upside down a tick. And the Eagles, I know they gave it up to the Cowboys, but traditionally the Eagles do a pretty good job against the run, right? You have Jalen Carter there in the middle, and when he'd actually, never mind. I'm going to keep my sarcastic comment to myself. Yes, you have Jalen Carter there in the middle, and he does a good job clogging it up. Obviously, week 2 against the Chiefs, their running game is kind of non-existent here at the moment. So I think that was a little false. We would have had maybe a better sense had he played against the Cowboys, But at that same token, would we have discredited it because Javonte Williams, right? And people still aren't quite there as Javonte's put back-to-back performances together, right? So if he does it again this week, like there's no reason why you sit Javonte Williams. Like you start him. If he has another week, I don't care that it's against the Bears. That's 3 in a row. That is a trend that you can absolutely track out. So I'm getting off topic here. I think I'm still playing Kyron by a hair, but I'm not going to shame anybody who says, now we're going to play Dobbins. I like the revenge factor, like Derek and I spoke about earlier. So that always has an extra piece of, hey, maybe I can, jump in on that and there's something there. So I'm not going to hate the Dobbins pick, but I think if it were my team, I would choose Kyron.
Yeah, I would lean the Kyron side as well. I think Dobbins is more of a ceiling play on that. So don't mind that play there, but I would if I'm making those roster decisions, I'm leaning Kyron in my own lineups over JK this week. So, alrighty, well, that's gonna do it for us tonight. Did any other final thoughts come in while we were running through that?
No.
All right.
On to Cincinnati.
On to Cincinnati. I like it. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us tonight. We'll be back again Tuesday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. Make sure that you hit that like, subscribe button. Really helps out there, guys. So appreciate it. Appreciate everybody tuning in, chiming in. We'll catch y'all on Tuesday. He's Kevin. I'm Derek. Have a good one. Be safe. Toodaloos.